let's talk about some of these things that they've announced over the course of the weekend. The first thing we're going to take a look at, the new cards from Alliance Insight. The set has been released in the OCG now, and we were just missing a couple of cards. I'm not expecting anything great here, because the way it goes is they usually announce almost everything out of the set before it drops, and then there's just a couple of surprises in there when the set comes out. I think it's like 3 or 4 cards here. Usually they don't belong to any archetype. They don't do anything crazy, but we'll check them out. We'll see if there's any sleeper powerful cards here. We've got Brain Controller. Level 1 Dark Psychic Tuner. You can only use the first, second, and third effect of this card's name each once per turn. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add a Brain Control from your deck to your hand. If you pay life points, you can target a face-up monster on the field that has a level and declare level from 1 to 8. It becomes the declared level. If this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you can special summon it to your opponent's field in defense position, but its effects are negated. Okay. This little guy is funny. This little guy is funny and not even that bad. Here's one thing. Okay, there's a positive thing about this that I'm feeling, and there's a negative thing that I'm feeling about this. Which one you want first? You want the positive or the negative one first? Negative? Okay. So the negative thing that this thing makes me feel is that this makes me hate the text change they have done to Brain Control even more. Right? Because imagine Brain Control was still its Anerada text from back in the day. Maybe you'd be like, oh, you know, Brain Control is still worse than Change of Heart, which is a card that's legal in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! But if I can play Brain Controller to search, maybe I'll play one Brain Control to, like, in a deck with Teleport and play a Brain Controller, and, you know, I can search my Brain Control, that'd be okay, right? However, because they've changed the text on Brain Control, it's actually, like, just not even a good card anymore. So, this makes me angry, right? That's the negative thing. The positive thing, and this is only a very slight positive, is that at least this gives you a reason, quote unquote, to play Brain Control over Change of Heart. Because ever since they've changed the text on Brain Control, the card is just so incredibly worse that there's literally no reason to play Brain Control ever again. This would be a theoretical reason to play Brain Control again, which is fine, I guess. In a world where Brain Control has received this errata, which is the world we're living in, at least now there is a very, very small reason to actually play Brain Control. Now, here's something that I like about this card, is that you can actually use Brain Control going first now with this guy, right? Because I think this is why they gave it this effect. The way I interpret this card is, when you, let's say you activate Emergency Teleport, because this is obviously the best use for this card, is that it's a psychic monster. You're going to use Teleport to summon this guy. It's going to search Brain Control. You're going to synchro with it, because it's a tuner. And then you're going to give it to your opponent, and then you have a target for Brain Control. Because it's a monster that can be normal summoned, that they now have. So you can, this is technically 2 tuners, right? Technically, this guy on its own is going to give you 2 tuners in one card, because you're just going to summon it once, and then you're going to give it to your opponent and then steal it with Brain Control. So it's not the worst thing you can summon off of Emergency Teleport. You know, a double tuner. It's not the worst. And then going second, like, unironically, if we had old Brain Control, you could consider that. Because then Brain Control would actually be a good card going second. Like, drawing Brain Control going second with its old effect would actually be kind of fire in a bunch of matchups. So having a Emergency Teleport target that can search Brain Control would be good if Brain Control was good. However, Brain Control is not good anymore, unfortunately, in most matchups, because you just can't take any extra deck monsters. So I don't know, but it's honestly, I think it's a little better than it looks at first glance, but it's probably still not good enough. All right, We've got Bomber Place, level 6 Dark Spellcaster, 1350, 24, once per chain. Quick effect, you can pay 600, then activate one of these effects. If you control monsters of each level 1 from 1 to 6, choose a face-up monster your opponent controls that has a level and destroy all other monsters they control with an equal level. Choose a monster you control that has a level and destroy all opponent's monster in its column with an equal level link. Huh? So what you're telling me is I have to set up a level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 on the field. And then it's still not even like, it's not even just straight up Raigeki, it's still conditional. I'm not gonna lie, this thing could say, if you control a monster of each level from 1 to 6, you win the game, and it'd still be terrible. It'd still be a terrible card. If you had to set up a level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then win the game, it'd still be bad. But they decided to give it a conditional pop effect. Nah, this card is just straight up ass. We're not gonna interpret more into this. This card's pack filler. Do it early, do it together. Quick play spell card. If you do not have do it early, do it together in your graveyard, banishment, or face-up field, banish the top 7 cards of your deck face down. Your opponent banishes 7 cards from their extra deck and or the top of their deck face down. Okay. Can your opponent choose? Or can you choose? The opponent chooses? Okay, this card is unusable. It's basically a once per duel. No, it's a 0 times per duel because no one's ever going to play this card. 7-star Sky Style Bato Jutsu Hagun. Quick play spell card. You can only activate 1 card with this card's name per turn. Target 1 face-up monster you control. Equip a level 7 monster from your hand or deck with the same type, but a different name. It has an equip spell that gives it 700 attack, but return that equip spell, equip card to the hand during the end phase. When an opponent's level, rank, or 8 or higher monster is destroyed by battle while this card's in your graveyard, you can add this card to your hand. This you could maybe do some stuff with. Easy Chorozo? Yeah, like, if there are level 7 monsters that have good graveyard effects, you know, like, let's say you normal summon, I mean, the first thing I can think of is like you normal summon a dragon monster, and then you equip Abzerauder to it, and then you link the dragon monster off, and you get to search with Abzerauder. That's just like an example, right? Or, you know, those kind of thing. Maybe. Right, Orcus, yeah, you can equip Orcus Nightmare. You equip Orchestrated Nightmare to a machine monster. You equip whatever. Like, there's probably things you can do with this. It's like a weird Foolish Burial for level 7s, which is slightly more conditional than Foolish Burial, of course. You know, like Foolish Burial does not require you to have a monster with the same type first. So, you know, but still, that's theoretically a usable card, especially because you know, in some games, if your opponent is playing level or rank 8 monsters, you could get this card back for an additional use. Master Plan, yeah, there's some potential here. It's probably a little janky card that is a little too situational, but I can see at least I can see the point of this card. And I could see some usage here. Abduction, normal trap card. You can only activate 1 card with this card's name per turn. Target a face-up monster your opponent controls. Banish a monster from your deck or extra deck with the same type, attribute, and level rank link rating. And if you do, take control of it. But if you banish the monster with the same original name, negate the taken monster's effects. Oh, this card, you know what? This card does remind me of Metaltronus. It does remind me of Metaltronus, and in some instances, it is even better than Metaltronus. The problem is it's a trap card, and I think that's probably what makes this card not good enough. I don't think this card is going to see any play. Even though it is not an awful card, this is the kind of thing that needed to be on a quick play spell card. If this is a quick play spell card, we're talking. It's basically Metaltronus on a trap card, but instead of, like, with Metaltronus, the thing is the following. You have to either choose to, if you want the body from Metaltronus, your opponent also keeps the body on the field, and you have to deal with it later, potentially. If you want to remove your opponent's body from the field, you also have to banish your own body, and it has to be the exact same monster in your deck or extra deck. With this one, it's like, you can do both, right? You can take your opponent's monster away, and you get to keep a body, right? So technically, it is like Metaltronus, but better. But then it's on a trap card instead of a quick play, and that's like horrible. So I don't think this card is good enough, but it's like interesting design, I guess. I do like Metaltronus as a card, and I do think this card's design is also fine. I think this could probably just be on a quick play spell. The requirements for matching stats is pretty harsh, though. I mean, you're supposed to just have the same monster. Because the way it's worded, if you banish the monster with the original name, negate the taken monster's effect, they make it sound like that's a but, you know, like a negative. This is most of the time a positive. Your opponent is going to summon a monster, use its effect, and you're going to want to take it and negate it. Like a Widow Anchor type deal is typically better than just taking. Because then you can stop the, like, this does also stop the opponent's effect from resolving. Like if they normal summon Ice Ryziel, for example, it's better to take it and negate it than to just take it. In those cases, it's a better crackdown. Yeah, but then it's a better but more situational crackdown in that sort of sense. But yeah, okay, these cards are what we were expecting, or what I was expecting. They are, for the most part, pack filler. I think there's only a small chance any of these cards ever sees real play. I think the highest chance for any of these cards to see play is probably the 7-star Sky Style card, or maybe the little janky Brain Controller is something. If there's ever a deck that wants to play like Emergency Teleport for multiple tuners, I mean, you could also just play like Punks or something like that, but maybe you really want a level 1 Dark Psychic tuner that has 2 uses out of it. Like Brain Controller with Teleport is not terrible. But yeah, nothing too crazy here. Nothing too crazy here for Alliance Insight. The set overall, besides these cards, is looking fairly strong, I think. I've seen the first couple of results over from the OCG trickle in over the course of the weekend. Like, people are playing with these cards now, and I think it's only a matter of time until we get the first metagame report of Alliance Insight, which I'm looking forward to, because we're gonna get to see what the set exactly changes. But yeah, these cards in particular aren't that crazy. I don't exactly know where this dropped, but I think there's been like some announcements regarding the TCG release of Alliance Insight, and I think they spoiled the first image of the Mitsurugi support. There's no real news here. It's just an image. The first Mitsurugi card, I think, is this one right here, which we'll see. It's gonna be a random ass fusion. There's no way that they give Mitsurugi a fusion monster. That'd be the most TCG exclusive thing they could ever do. It'd be so fitting and so sad at the same time. It'll be a Gemini. Yeah, it's a Gemini. Oh god. Yeah, we'll see. We will see.